Okay, awesome. So we will get started. Already see a lot of our customers. So thank you all for joining for our February update. For February, we had a lot of different additions to your apps. So I'll go through each of the updates. Some of these might be relevant to you, some might not be relevant to you. So I'll go through the various updates and also show how residents are currently using them. So we were definitely very busy in February. So for those of you that I'm sure most of you are familiar with Flamingo, Flamingo's mission, as always, is to create the tools, systems, and apps that really help you all stand out and offer a significantly better resident experience. So in February, we updated a few things on your resident apps. So we made some updates to the OnDemand Fitness. So we added, and I'll go through each of these in more detail. So for the OnDemand Fitness, we added a few new features. We added some new classes. We also added some challenges, rewards, and a few other things, which I'll show you. And then a new feature was messaging. So we added resident messaging. This allows residents to privately message each other. It allows residents to message our Flamingo providers, like our TV mounters, house cleaners, and all of that. It also allows residents to message the management team and allows the management team to really manage all resident communication in one place. And then we did some enhancements to the amenity reservation feature. So we had some requests especially from a few of our West Coast clients. So we made some updates to the amenity reservation feature, which I'll go over. And then we also added a help desk. So the help desk feature is similar to your maintenance request system, except it's for everything unrelated to service requests or maintenance requests. It's for all the other emails or all the other reasons that residents might send you an email. And then we did some additional enhancements to the Yardi, RealPage, Intrada, and Rent Manager integrations. So we had a minor issue where some residents, especially roommates, were not being pulled into your apps. So that was fixed, and all your residents are now added automatically. And then we made some updates to the concierge services. Residents are still able to book the TV mounts or dog walkers. Some of the updates we made was to make it easier for residents to know pricing information even before they book. And then we made some enhancements to the digital signage screens. So you can now add additional apps and additional content to your digital screens. So I'll go through each of those separately. So I'll start with the amenity reservations. So we made a bunch of updates to the amenity reservation to make it easier to manage amenities. So some of the updates that we made were, it's now easier, for example, to see all the reservations that residents have made, and you can also filter. But one of the updates that we made that was highly requested was the ability to restrict reservations. So you can now restrict when residents can book reservations. So you can now say, you can block out the calendar, for example, every Christmas or every New Year, or if there's specific days or times that you want to block off the amenities, you can now do that from the admin panel. So it makes it really simple for you to restrict amenities. So for example, one of our clients, Atlas, they have blocked off some specific days for the amenity reservations. So for example, it looks like they have blocked off New Year's Eve, so no one is able to reserve amenities that around that time. So you can basically now block off specific time blocks or specific days where residents are not able to reserve a specific amenity. What's nice for this is you can set that to be a one-time block, or you can set that as a recurring block. So if you set that up, then residents are not able to reserve amenities at that time. So it makes it really simple for you to manage reservations that way. And then the second enhancement that we made to the amenity reservations feature is we added the ability for you to share amenities. So this is more relevant to some of our customers who have like 2 buildings or 3 buildings that share amenities. So at the moment, you couldn't share amenities across those buildings, but now you are able to share an amenity across all of your buildings. So if you have a block of buildings that all share a pool or fitness center or yoga room, you can share that amenity across all those buildings. So now, even though they have separate apps or separate Flamingo apps, when you share the amenity to those 2, 3, 4, or infinite number of buildings, all your residents are able to see that amenity in their specific app. And any reservations made by one resident at one building blocks it off for the other residents at the other building. So allows you to share amenities across 1, 2, or multiple buildings, and then makes it much easier to manage that. Another enhancement that we added was the ability to get notified when residents book an amenity. So for some properties, they're requested to be notified whenever a reservation is made. So this is relevant for one of our clients in Pittsburgh. They have a tanning salon, and they wanted to make sure that it's student housing. They wanted to make sure that residents are not using it too much, or the same residents are not using it over and over. And then they also have to do some things when the amenity is booked. So they want it to be notified so they can prepare the amenity whenever it's done. So that's now available. And then another enhancement that we made to the amenity reservation feature is you can now, this is an old one, but one that a lot of our clients are not aware of. You can limit how many active reservations a resident can have at one time. So this is especially important for our West Coast clients who right now are struggling because there's a limit to how many amenities they have, and it's become really competitive because residents are all gunning to use the amenity, and some people are booking amenities like way far in advance. So you can now limit how many active reservations a resident can have for each amenity. You can limit how much they can actually reserve the amenity. So you can say that you can only use this amenity 5 hours out of the week or 10 hours out of the week. And then you can also limit how far in advance they can reserve each amenity. And so it makes it even easier to manage amenities. And then the other feature we added is buffer time. So for some of our clients who require cleaning after each amenity, you can now add a buffer time between amenity reservations. So for example, if a resident reserved an amenity from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., our system can automatically add a buffer time. So you can say, no one can reserve the amenity from 9 to 9:30 because that's when the cleaning team is going to clean that amenity. So the buffer time is added automatically as soon as a resident reserves an amenity. So if someone books the amenity from 8 to 9, the system automatically adds a buffer time of 30 minutes or an hour. So no one can book the reservation for that time right after the previous booking. So it makes it easy, especially if you now need to still do cleanings after every amenity reservation. So those are the updates to the amenity reservation booking. Some of the upcoming enhancements that we are going to add are check-in for amenities, and then also a wait list. So right now, one of the challenges that we've heard from our clients is that a lot of residents are reserving amenities, but some of them don't show up. So that's making a lot of other residents angry because there's such a limit to the availability. So we are going to add a feature that allows residents to check in before the amenity. And if they don't check in before the amenity, then it gets canceled automatically. So someone else can take that spot for them. So in the chat, let me know if you guys have any specific questions around the amenity reservation feature or any of the updates as I go through them. But so those were the enhancements that we made to the amenity reservation feature. Next one I wanted to go over is the updates that we made to the OnDemand Fitness. So let me walk through that by actually sharing my phone screen. Okay, great. So we made a bunch of enhancements to the OnDemand to drive even more engagement. Let's look at the app Atlas. So within their app, their residents are able to access all of their on-demand fitness classes. So we made a few changes to the on-demand. So we added challenges and then we added trophy cases. So in order to really drive engagement, it's nice to make it easy for residents to access the on-demand classes anywhere. So right now they can access it from the app, they can watch it in your yoga room, and they can also access it or stream it on a TV in their living room. So they can either do that through Apple AirPlay, or they can cast it directly to any TV that has AirPlay or Google Chrome or Roku or any of the devices that allows them to stream different things like Netflix. They can now stream all your on-demand classes directly on their TVs, yoga room, or on the app. So a couple of the updates that we made were challenges. So we added a couple of challenges that residents can participate in every month. So the first challenge is the 21-day challenge. So with the 21-day challenge, residents earn rewards and points for working out 21 times out of a 30-day period. So in March, if they completed 21 workouts, they would earn the 21-day challenge, and they would earn a trophy, and they would also earn rewards as well too. So what's nice is they are able to see, so right now at Atlas, we have like 2 residents participating in the 21-day challenge, and they can also see everyone else that's participating in the building. So right now, all these residents are participating in the 21-day challenge, and like Sahil has completed 3 workouts. So he has a little bit of a ways to go. So as soon as a resident completes this, they will then earn a trophy. So the trophies they can earn are the 21-day challenge trophy, and they earn that when they complete that challenge, and they also earn rewards for completing that challenge. The second challenge that we added it's a 1,000 minutes challenge. So residents earn a reward and a trophy if they complete 1,000 minutes of working out. So that comes out to be about 30 minutes per day. So it's really a nice way to also drive additional engagement. So for example, right now, like Henry has completed about 200 minutes of workouts. So as soon as he gets to 1,000, he will earn a reward and then also earn a trophy for the March trophy for 1,000 minutes. And then the next challenge that we added is a variety challenge. So residents earn the variety challenge by completing a workout from each of the different workout categories. So if they complete a bar class, a lower body, low impact, additional equipment, HIIT, dumbbell, Tabata, strength, and then all of them. So they have to complete one workout from each of these different class categories. So as soon as they complete the workout and then complete it from each category, they will then earn the rewards for that specific category. The other update that we made is we also added a chat feature. So residents can comment, chat, and then basically talk during the workouts as well too. So that made it really easy for them to really engage with their neighbors. And then the other enhancements to the on-demand is we added a trophy case. So residents earn trophies for every workout that they complete or every challenge that they complete. And then we also added milestones. So residents can now see their progress over time. So they earn a milestone trophy when they reach different milestones. So as soon as they complete 10 workouts, they would earn the 10 workout milestone badge. And then 25, they earn that milestone, 50, 75, 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, and so on. So it's really a nice way for residents to see their progress over time. And one thing to note is we do provide a surprise. They earn a reward every time they reach a new milestone. And then when they reach 100 workouts, that's when they become part of the Century Club. So it's a really special club where residents, we send them like an actual gift, like a water bottle, and then a badge, a physical badge as well too. So a really fun thing to drive up engagement. And then this is also something that can potentially help with retention, because as residents earn the different milestones, they are less likely to want to move out because they want to get to that next milestone and they don't want to lose their place in the leaderboard or other places. And that's what the leaderboard looks like as well too. And then, so those are the key updates for the on-demand. So we also added a few additional classes as well too. So the next step for the on-demand, one of the features that we are currently working on is a workout party. So with the workout party, residents are going to be able to essentially work out together, even though they are in their individual apartment units. So it's really a fun way for residents to still feel, even though they are working out differently, like in their own individual apartment units, they feel like they are working out with their neighbors. So they can see who else is also working out at the same time with them. And then another update is they can also invite their neighbors to come work out together. And then one thing I didn't add or show as part of the updates to the on-demand shout outs. So this one is already available. So shout outs are a way for residents to kind of give kudos to their neighbors. So whenever a resident completes a workout, it gets posted in the social feed. So for example, Henry completed a workout 14 hours ago. So it got posted in the Atlas social feed. And then whenever a resident works out or completes a challenge, it gets posted here. So it's a nice way for residents to see who else is working out and for them to really get a recognition from their neighbors for the workouts they have completed. So for example, yesterday, Andrea completed a 15-minute app and core workout, and that was posted in the social feed. And then he got 4 likes from the other Atlas, from his neighbors. So it's a nice way not only to help drive engagement, but it also shows social proof. So the more residents see that their neighbors are working out, the more they are likely to also work out, and the more likely they are wanting to participate as well. So again, it's the whole goal is to really drive not only engagement, but also a stronger sense of community as well too. So that was one of the big updates that we added. And so far, we've gotten really positive feedback from residents. And then the other update as well for the on-demand is that we added all of the analytics. So now your teams are able to see how much your residents are working out. So for example, for this building, in February, residents completed 14 workouts. Well, so far in March, they have completed 63 workouts already. So we're already seeing more engagement with some of the updates that we added to the app. And then the same thing too, in February, residents completed about 600 minutes of workouts. But in March so far, they have already completed about 1,500 minutes of workouts. So those analytics allows you to really see how much your residents are using your on-demand and some of the feedback that they are leaving. So that's the big update for the on-demand. So really exciting because we've gotten really, really good feedback from residents and they are really excited to dig in. And then next update that we added was for basically the chat feature or the messaging feature. So with the messaging feature, it allows residents to message their neighbors, allows residents to message our providers, and allows them to message anyone. So with the messaging feature, they simply go into the app and then they can click on private message. So with the private message, they can message any one of their neighbors. So they can message anyone that's in the app. So it's really a nice way to allow residents to stay connected to their neighbors. What we see is a lot of residents use the social feed to sell furniture or to trade things. So what this allows them to do is if they are trying to sell, for example, trying to sell a couch and they don't want to post their number, they can just have whoever is looking to buy connect with them privately to buy it. So again, allows them to just message each other privately. So we've gotten really good feedback already because it's a nice way for residents to really get to know their neighbors on a one-on-one basis. So whether it's connecting to have a coffee or something else. So that's one of the big updates. And then the messaging feature also allows residents to connect with their service provider. So if a resident has booked a house cleaning or TV mounting, they are able to message the provider before or during the appointment. because we have situations where sometimes a resident has like monthly house cleaning, and they might not be home when the cleaning happens. So with this feature, they are not only able to message the provider, but they're also able to send like additional instructions like, oh, today I want you to focus on cleaning the bathroom or something else. So the messaging makes it really, really simple for residents to message not only their neighbors, but also to message their service providers who are taking care of the building. And then the other update that we made is messaging where residents are able to message the management team directly, and it's part of our help desk feature. So the help desk feature, you can really think of this as a way to manage all of the resident communication that you get in one place. So one of the challenges for property managers is that if you manage resident communication via email, it's really difficult to track a lot of things. So you don't know how many emails you get from residents on a weekly basis. You don't know how often or how the average turnaround time that it takes to respond to a resident request. You don't know how many issues you get on a regular basis. So with our help desk feature, residents are able to message the management team directly from the app, and the management team can respond directly. So the purpose for this feature is that it moves resident communication away from your email inbox to a dedicated place on the platform where you can not only easily email or message residents, but you can also track how many emails you get every week. You can also track what the common issues are that you receive from residents. And then all the team members are able to respond to those features. So it really makes it easy to keep track of messaging directly from your residents. So they can send all of those messages, and then you are able to manage them. So with the help desk feature, when residents send those like messages, you can manage them directly on the app. So to show an example of this, let's go here. So here will be an example of the messaging on the chat. So if I go here, you can see all the messages that residents have sent. So an example would be April. She sent a message yesterday. This was a message to Flamingo, but it's similar to if she was sending a message to the property management team. So residents can send messages directly from the app, and the management team can respond directly. And then residents get a push notification to let them know they have to respond. And then as soon as the communication is over, you are able to close that out. And then the whole team is able to see all the messages that residents have sent over time. And then with our analytics, you can see how many questions residents are sending, what are the core issues they are sending the questions about, and then you can also track how long it takes before a resident's question is responded to, or how many issues residents typically send. Where this helps is that over time, you are then able to see the most common questions or issues that come up. So it makes it really then easy to then create a self-service response for residents. So within the app, you have the ability to add FAQs, the ability to add like commonly asked questions. So as residents send information, you are then able to find out the different questions residents typically send, and then you are now able to add those as an FAQ or as a help guide directly on the app. So for example, if residents are sending a lot of questions about parking or about packages, you can now add information about packages directly on the app. So now instead of residents like emailing you or calling, they can find that information directly on the app. So this is connected with the help desk, where if a resident is asking a question about, for example, packages, they would automatically get this article recommended to them to say, oh, it seems like you have a question about packages. Why don't you take a look? Why don't you take a look at the article about like packages? So where that helps is that residents are now able to find the information they need themselves. So instead of residents like emailing you email or calling about with the same questions over and over again, whenever they're about to send an email, they get a suggested article that they can look at. So this is going to cut down on the number of questions, calls, or emails that your team site get. So it's a way to really make residents like more self-sufficient. So if a resident has a question about packages, if they're about to send an email to ask that question, the app automatically suggests them to take a look at the FAQ about packages and see if that's going to answer their question or not. So for some of our clients, that means instead of receiving 100 questions from residents every week, they now only get about 10 or 5, because now residents are able to find all the information they need in one place and through the help desk chat feature. So that was another big update. So making it really, really simple for residents to find the information that they need themselves, instead of always calling or emailing the site teams with the same questions over and over and over again. So with this one, you can now focus your time on other things. So that's what the help desk feature is. So that was a pretty big update, and it's making it much easier for a lot of our customers to really make their residents like more self-sufficient. And then other updates that we made were to the Yardi Real Page and Intrada integration. So now some roommates that were not being added by the integration are now being added with the integration. And then other update that we made to the concierge services, we were getting a lot of questions from residents about like pricing before they actually book. So we added a lot more information. So now before a resident books a service, they are able to see a lot more information about that service and how it works. So that's really helped with driving engagement on the concierge services. And then another big update that we made was to the digital signage screens. So now we added a few different apps to the digital signage screen. So to show you what that looks like. So for those of you that don't use the digital signage, it's digital screens that we add to your lobby or mailroom, and the screens display all your upcoming events, displays marketing messages, and any announcements that you want residents to be aware of. So with the digital screens, we made some updates to the apps you can use. So you can use the Instagram app, the weather app, the local events app, building events app, and then the transit app. The transit app was one of the big ones that we added a few weeks ago. So the transit app displays any transit information that your residents need to know. So for the updates that we made, it now displays the upcoming, it shows the weather, it shows upcoming events, it shows like transit information, and then also shows your Instagram. So we made some updates to this to make it even easier to use. So now you can add even more content, from images to videos to pictures. So that's made it a little bit easier to digitalize resident communication. And it's all completely integrated with the app. Some of the other apps that we are adding to the digital screen includes a welcome home app that welcomes new residents when they move into the building. So those are the updates that we made to the digital screen. Those were the major updates that we made for February. So all your residents now have access to this, and we are seeing a really big uptick in utilization and overall engagement. And a lot of it has definitely come from the on-demand, where residents are really using it because they can now access it everywhere. So thank you all for attending. I'll give it about a minute. If anyone has questions, definitely feel free to ask those questions on the chat feed. But I appreciate you guys jumping on. And then we have a few additional updates that we are currently working on for March. So we will also do the same update guide in March, going over the updates that were made. So some of those updates include some additional enhancements to the OnDemand Fitness. We are also adding some new updates to our event marketplace to make it even easier for you all to book resident events and then manage the resident events directly on the platform, including some updates to how residents are notified when they get announcements. And then also making some updates to the emailing feature So to make it much easier to send e-blasts to residents and add some additional variables to the emails that you send. So we already have the email functionality. The updates that we add into the emails is to allow you to add variables to each email, whether it's the resident's name or unit number or their rent or other variables that you want to make within the email. So we will do an update to that. But thank you all for attending. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to shoot me an email. And for those of you that have been sending a lot of feedback, I really appreciate the feedback. That's really what is helping us really offer a much better product. And I hope for those of you that send some of the suggestions, you can see some of the feedback or some of the new features that we have been able to add because of your feedback and suggestions. So it's always like very much appreciated. So thank you all. I hope everyone has a really great rest of the week. Thank you guys. Bye.